Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Guess what, folks? Now with Donald Trump out of office, the same trend continues. It seems as though mostly everything that the Democrats were using to attack Donald Trump during the climax, the peak of the presidential election in 2020, was full-on misinformation, propaganda, BS. It turns out, I keep making these videos with the title, Trump was right, Trump proven right, Trump vindicated, Trump right again. I make him for a reason because it just keeps happening. Just last week we were talking about Lafayette Square. Now we're talking about California wildfires. When Donald Trump was talking about forest management, cleaning the forest of all the dry debris that falls down to the bottom in order to help mitigate or prevent raging wildfires, they called him an anti-science, climate-denying kook. And Joe Biden, during the peak of the election cycle, even called Donald Trump a climate arsonist and said the world would be on fire if you elect Donald Trump again. Well, get this. Donald Trump was actually right, because now California is spending $5 million to do what? To clear out 33 million acres of forest to help prevent raging wildfires. So when Donald Trump was saying it for years, California of course couldn't do it, because if they did, it'd be the same thing as admitting the lab leak theory was correct. They could potentially be associated with Donald Trump. They'd rather let the forest burn than admit that Donald Trump might have made a good point. Absolute wackos. But now that he's out of office, all of a sudden it turns out he wasn't such a wacko after all, and it turns out he was right. And another thing that Joe Biden campaigned on, which was a complete lie, another smear, more slander, more propaganda and misinformation from the Democrats in order to win elections, and that is a surprise to no one. But of course, at this point, what isn't surprising is that Donald Trump was right, and we got a lot of stuff to get into. But before we do, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We're still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here it is, straight from the Gateway Pundit. Trump was right again. California to spend $500 million this year to thin 33 million acres of forest to help prevent raging wildfires. Remember when President Trump said California's wildfires had nothing to do with, quote, climate change and everything to do with the state's mismanagement of forests under Democrat leadership? I see again the forest fires are starting, Trump said at a 2020 rally in Pennsylvania. They're starting again in California. I said, you gotta clean your floors, you gotta clean your forests. There are many years of leaves and broken trees, and they're like so flammable, you touch them and it goes up in flames. Maybe we're just gonna have to make them pay for it because they don't listen to us, he added. Here's the clip of Trump expressing himself, but of course the narrative was that Donald Trump was just a climate denier, was as Joe Biden put it.
When trees fall down after a short period of time, about 18 months, they become very dry, they become really like a matchstick. And they get up, there's no more water pouring through, and they become very, they just explode.
And it became political. And here's the thing, even if Donald Trump doesn't believe in climate change, the fact that Democrats can't meet in the middle or can't see that someone with a different point of view might actually be right about something, the fact that Democrats can't admit that two things can be true at the same time is a problem and shows just how close-minded and biased they really are. They refuse to take it seriously until, of course, sheer devastation hit the forest and has misplaced so many people who had to flee their homes. Think about the livestock. Think about the natural ecosystem that's been decimated in the area. Now all of a sudden they admit Trump might have had a point. It's the same thing over and over and over again, and it's why politics, or at least bipartisan politics, can't move forward anymore. Republicans are bad in their bias as well, of course, but Democrats just don't want to listen. They don't want to have discussions or debate. It's my way or the highway. Anything a Republican says must automatically be false because it came from a Republican. There's a reason campus reform makes those YouTube videos where they take Donald Trump's policy proposals and frame them as Bernie Sanders' policy proposals, or ask you who said this, is it Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, or Donald Trump? And it turns out when it's a blind selection, most people prefer Donald Trump's policies. Let's continue on with Donald Trump being right. Judge dismisses claim against Trump over clearing DC protesters from Lafayette Square. Zoe Tillman writes, now a judge ruled Black Lives Matter DC and others cannot sue Trump, bar other federal officials officials involved in the clearing of Lafayette Summer I'd say is fake news there, Zoe Tillman. That was actually DC Mayor Bowser, but anyways, we'll get into that in a second. Except to challenge ongoing restrictions to the area, claims against DC plus Arlington survive. So Donald Trump once again has been exonerated. There's the investigation that proved that Donald Trump had absolutely nothing to do with clearing the protesters. It was actually the DC mayor who was pushing a flat-out lie, knowing because she was the one who was involved with clearing the square, and then went to the DNC and literally blamed Trump for it. Well, here she is again spreading more misinformation. DC mayor falsely claims there was only one night of rioting in the district last summer. One night. Let me guess, it was the one night where Donald Trump tear-gassed and cleared Lafayette Square for his photo op, which you literally tear-gassed and cleared the square for Donald Trump's perceived photo op. But there was only one night of rioting. Yeah, I'm not even gonna look into that. I don't even have to. I know for a fact it was more than one night, but okay there, Mayor Bowser. These Democrats have lost their mind, folks. They're not even living on the same planet anymore. And speaking of the bias, the propaganda, the constant attack on Donald Trump, and of course, liberals losing their minds, New York Times scribe Maggie Haberman